ways to give your home that designer look is by choosing the right color palette. But how do you know which one to choose? We're going to share ways to gain some color confidence on today's SoFlo Home Project. Welcome to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra. Giving your home a look that fits your personality begins with the design rules of color. And the first rule is don't be afraid to get creative and let your true colors shine through. Today, we'll show you how to create design impact by using bold colors. Select a cohesive color scheme that reflects your personality. Add warmth to any room with a splash of color, and so much more. All right, so let's talk about color when it comes to home decor. So of course there are an infinite number of colors to really work with in a home. Honestly, you could pick one of so many options. But when you want to bring a bold color into your space, you really have to think about a color that you're going to want to see for the long run. When you think about adding a bold color to a more semi-permanent space like a kitchen or a bath, there you really got to make sure you're going to want to see that color all the time. But I actually think it's a really great way to have fun and express your personality in some colors that really, bring happiness to your life. So we have seen a fire engine red kitchen, also cabinetry in a bold teal, or even other shades of blue. So of course, while neutral is a great look, it's sometimes really fun to have that bold pop of color. Another great room where that really works are powder rooms or smaller guest baths. We've toured some really fun powder rooms that were surrounded in a tangerine color wall covering, as well as a very kind of peach or salmon color tropical wall covering vibe. So whatever the design style, it could be traditional, transitional, or modern. You can pick a color on a wall covering or paint and really have fun with it. And in the kitchen, the cabinetry, because think about what covers the most surface area. But what about in the other rooms I spoke about? Bedrooms, living rooms, dining rooms, foyers, offices. Here we are in my design studio and I used a bold color. So I want to just show you a little bit of an example of ways to weave bold color throughout without it being too overpowering. So here, I love this lime green. It's the color in my logo. So I wanted it to be predominant here in this particular room. Notice the wall color, I went with a lighter gray. In past offices, I have chosen to paint this green on the wall, but for an office environment, I learned that I like a softer color on the wall. For me, it's more calming, but I love the infused pop of color. So I picked up the lime green in the chairs, the desktop accessories, also in the rug, which brings all the colors together, and this wall covering behind me, as well as the pillows. So when we bring a bold color into a room, it's nice to repeat it at least 3 times. But as you notice, if I were to have to change this and got tired of the green at one point, it's not a lot of items to change, right? Because the basics are neutral. So I think that's a key takeaway sometimes if you are afraid of going too bold with the color in the space, but you still want a bright color in there, bring it in smaller accents. So we've also seen some really great entryways. That's another great space in your home, whether it's a condo, a townhome, or a house. That foyer can really, make a statement. It's a great place to really kind of wrap the walls in a color and really make that smaller area pop. So it doesn't necessarily always need to be paint for the walls or wallpaper. We're seeing a lot of great slabs of natural stone cladding walls and entryways, or you could even use a porcelain tile. So there's a lot of different materials that can bring that boldness. And I think if you want to bring a color, using an interesting material is another great way to kind of make it a little different and a little unexpected. And of course, in rooms like bedrooms, that's a really easy way to bring in your bold color. There you have the opportunity to add it. The wall behind the bed is always that great space. Like if you don't want to wrap all walls in, it not only adds depth to the room and sometimes makes it feel larger, it just gives you something to build on to bring in colors in your pillows, the rug, the art that hangs on the walls. Of course, here I talked about how it's gray and neutral, but the bold pops of color are in all the other items surrounding. You could also flip it and do the bold color on the wall. That's strictly user preference. Some people like lighter walls for their work environment, and some people want to be in a more fun, bold space. When it comes to your living room, that's another great space to have fun with color. Often we'll give tips and tell you to start with the larger items being neutral, such as your sofa, and then bringing the color in around it. But sometimes you want to flip that and make a statement with your sofa and do that in the bold color. And that could be a really great way to kind of add impact to the space. So you don't necessarily have to do everything neutral. If you're afraid of color, start small, but bring it in so it continues throughout that room. Coming up, ways to choose the right color scheme for your home on SoFlo Home Project.
SoFlo Home Project is sponsored in part by Eldorado Furniture. Looking to refresh your home? Visit us online at eldoradofurniture.com or a showroom near you.
Hi, I'm John.
And I'm Lester with USA Windows and Doors.
And today we're going to show you another installation of impact windows.
One of the things that the homeowner was concerned was about the process from beginning to end. One of the aspects that makes our company so unique is that we handle this entire process for the customer from beginning to end. It means that if the customer lives in an HOA, we take care of all the paperwork and adhere to the regulations of the HOA, which is very important. Number two, we handle the city permit and all the applications. And number three, we also take care of the inspections. One of the unique things that we did in this home is that we changed windows from being up and down to a fixed panel. However, the customer still wanted to maintain the original look of the windows. We did what is called tombstones. These are fixed panels, yet we maintain the colonial grids to comply with the HOA and still give the homeowner the original look that he loved. One of the main advantages to going to a fixed panel, of course, number one is safety. This window doesn't have any up and down mechanism. So it's a solid piece of glass. So we do everything. We do the stucco, we replace the wood bucking, we do the drywall, everything is done. The only thing we don't do is touch-up paints.
Tell us also about the glass. I see that it's looking like it's tinted. What's the benefit of that?
In this case, the customer wanted to have some sort of privacy, so we went with what is called light tint. One of the main benefits, of course, is privacy plus also energy efficiency in this case.
What's the saving about?
Anywhere between 20 to 30%.
Wow. Are you ready to upgrade your windows? Call USA Windows and Doors today.
To experience the difference, call the number on your screen now. The first 100 callers will be upgraded to the energy efficient glass at no extra cost.
So call USA Windows and Doors now.
Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we're continuing to share some ways to bring color into your home to really let your personality shine through the space. Of course, we all are drawn to certain colors, and if you can reflect that in your own home, whether it's in one room or throughout the entire home. Now, I thought this would be a good time to share ways to do cohesive color schemes. So this is some samples from a bedroom makeover that we did on the show a few months back. And I put together a palette of blues. So I like to start with one bold element. So actually here we started with the wall covering. So one of my favorite ways, like I always mention, put that bold wall covering behind the bed wall. The rest of the walls, keep neutral. Not only will it be easy to change in the event you want to change that out, it's just one wall, but when you walk in and you see that wall, it really just creates maximum impact. From there, building the color scheme. So I'm working with this tone. Looking for a rug, I wanted to also bring in a neutral ground. So when you're working with the bold color, bringing in a soft neutral tone or tones is like your supporting cast, right? So the main actor in all this is the bold color here, and the supporting cast is your neutrals. So in this particular rug, the ground is very light and sort of grayish and soft. And then I have little bits of the aqua from the wallpaper throughout. So this brings it together without creating two bold visuals that you need to look at. They complement rather than compete for your attention. So the rug brings in this tone. Now, because the bed wall is this color, bringing the neutral from here for the bed made sense, because now you have contrast. So you have a lighter tone, neutral, you have your bold color, and then this rug that ties them all together. So for the accent pillows, I mean, we really bought in a lot of different things. So as you see here, different tones, and then a sort of tone-on-tone pattern just to add a little interest. As you see, there's not a lot of pattern in this space. So the tone-on-tone pattern brings some nice texture. So as you can see, with your neutrals added in, it really rounds out a very beautiful bedroom space and brings the color nicely throughout the room. Coming up next, giving life to neutral spaces with a splash of color on SoFlo Home Project. So we are back today at All American Roofing in Fort Lauderdale, joined by Susan Manning, the owner of All American Roofing. Susan, welcome.
Thank you for having me again.
But Susan, I wanted to first touch on, we're here at your offices, right?
We are, because we got rained out.
We wanted to shoot outside and show all of the great roofing projects, but we'll have plenty of time to get to that on a sunny day. You also are kind of right here in the trenches. You are always helping out and helping homeowners when you can.
I am. I sit right in the middle. Right here is my desk. I do like being part of, seeing what's going on. I answer the phone. All American Roofing, this is Susan. I'm available to all the customers if they want to speak to me.
Susan, so we had mentioned we were going to go to a community where All American Roofing had done a lot of different roof replacements.
Yes, we did 12 in that small development of 50 homes.
Wow.
We did 12.
So the big thing, I think, when it comes to communities like that, there are homeowners associations. How does All American Roofing assist?
So there's forms that they have to fill out. Most times I let the homeowners know we can fill out the forms for them and then send it back to them because we really know what they're looking for. Also, if HOA is taking a long time approving a tile, let's say, or approving whatever the improvement
colors,
is.
There's materials,
exactly.
all of that.
I'll usually step in just to move the process along.
Susan, so all that being said, there are so many ways that All American Roofing can help homeowners as well as commercial businesses, because I know you do that as well.
We do commercial and residential. We do many schools, churches, restaurants, shopping centers, condo associations. We do it all.
So the most important part about all this is, how do homeowners and commercial businesses reach you at All American Roofing?
They can call 954-772-7663 or on the web at allamericanroof.com.
Thanks so much, Susan.
Thank you for visiting us. We really appreciate it. Great seeing you again.
Always a pleasure.
When it's time to move, it's often a good time to get rid of things that we don't want, and it's a good time to declutter. So Good Greek Junk Removal comes in really handy to our customers as part of our one-stop shop and total relocation solutions. By getting rid of things that our customers don't need, we're saving them time and money. Good Greek Junk Removal not only helps you get rid of those unwanted things by disposing of them at the dump or taking them to your local charity, but Good Greek can also help in construction and renovation sites by helping get rid of that debris. So whether you're moving and you need to declutter, or you just need to do some spring cleaning around the house, Good Greek Junk Removal can help you get it all done.
Good Greek Moving and Storage, your superhero movers.
Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are continuing to talk about adding color to your home, whether it's a bold accent color, whether it's cohesive color story. There are so many different ways to add color in your space. So we're breaking it down today, and I thought now I would talk a little bit about accenting with color. So I've got this bright little chair here, matches all the colors in this room. Sometimes it's all about that accent chair or piece of furniture, right? So if you have a space where you don't want to commit to fully adding a ton of color on the walls, on the floor with the rugs, on the big pieces of furniture, adding colors, whether bold or more of a softer tone of color throughout your space, is easier done when you do it in smaller accents. I would focus on rooms like the bedroom, the living room, maybe even in the dining room or the entryway, because these are all places where you could add smaller pieces of furniture to kind of accent the color. So, for example, in a bedroom, we have toured some beautiful bedrooms where color was brought through with simply the accent pillows on the bed. Perhaps the entire bed is neutral, the rug is neutral, the wall treatment's more neutrals, grays, soft tones. But those accents were on the pillows, or in the wall art, as well as the accessories throughout. Perhaps it's a crystal or a little picture frame, an accent coffee table book. All of those accessories are a great way to build on that color story, and it's also a great way to add an additional color. A printed pillow, per se, would be great, because then you could pull another tone from that print and use that as your accessory color throughout. So when it comes to the living room, that's another great space to really kind of bring those colors in. We toured the beautiful living room, and the designer warmed up the neutral palette with an infusion of color. So in this case, it was a really pretty amethyst. We saw it draped in a throw on the sofa. We saw it in some beautiful wall art, as well as the accessories. Accessories are always that key. If you are not sure about color, this is the way to do it, and it's also the least expensive way to change that color up frequently. Also in your dining room, we talk about accent chairs, right? So you could reupholster older dining chairs in a fresh new color, extend the life of your furniture, and give the room a completely new look. And also in a dining room, that's a great room to accent the wall with a fun wall covering. So that's a great way to kind of wrap that room in color. I always feel like dining rooms can be that little jewel box. Next, more design advice with color on SoFlo Home Project. Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are on the last stop of our color story episode here. So all day we've been sharing some tips on how to bring color into your home, whether it's an accent color, whether it's a bold color, and connecting that color story. But now I wanted to share a little bit of advice on some tips on general rules of color when combining them for different rooms of the home. So I've set out a few scenarios so you can kind of see the way color was used here. Also to just kind of briefly touch on trending colors. We're seeing a lot of green in home design right now, and this is a very soothing, sort of almost a sagey type of green. And of course, blues are always classic here, especially in South Florida. So in this case, there's a kitchen in the area, the kind of great room. The countertops were neutral stone, so I went with Taj Mahal quartzite. So here, I bought in this color for the bar stools. So I'm picking up the neutral from the countertop, but we want to add color. So to add color, we have this green. So the bar stools are actually a two-tone. So you could bring your color in on some of the chairs to add a pop of color to an otherwise neutral kitchen. And then, like I said, always try to pick that color up a few other spots in the room. I love an accent wall, so a nice linen wall covering to bring that green back in. And you could pull from darker tones if you have a stone countertop. Even in a neutral, there's like 3 different tones in here to work with. So we've got the light, now I've got the darker tone and my color. So 2 neutrals plus 1 color and a little pattern brings a beautiful color story together for your home. And as you see for the carpet, same thing, very subtle, same tonality. So when you're looking for inspiration for your color story in a room or throughout your home, the countertops are a great way to pull from that. You could always bring more. In this case, this didn't bring color, but we chose the color. In this one, it had color, so we committed to that. In this scenario, you can completely remove all the green accents at one point in time, years down the road. And then you're starting with something new, free to add in any other color scenario. So it allows you to have flexibility. In this case, it's still nice too. You could even add and build other colors that blend with the blue. So the bottom line is, don't be afraid of using color in your home. There's a lot of ways to either bring a little or a lot, and you could always build on that and change as you go. So I hope that you found these tips really useful, and we always look forward to seeing how you utilize them in your own home. So always tag us in pictures, and we'd like to see what you're doing in your own home projects. And now to keep you inspired, take a look at what design inspiration we have for you next week. Next week on SoFlo Home Project, indulge your senses with the beauty, flavors, and scents of the Fruit and Spice Park. We have expert advice on how to bring the splendor of nature into your own home, even if you have limited outdoor spaces. And to our viewers, we thank you for joining us this week, and we hope to see you again next week for another all-new episode of SoFlo Home Project right here on Local 10. And remember, there's no place like SoFlo Home. If you missed any part of this episode, or if you're looking for more design inspiration, make sure to check out all episodes online at SoFloShows.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media on Facebook and Instagram.